You can simply flag them down, or they may just come up and ask you if you understand what's going on, but they want to make sure you get the idea of what's going on the track. Starting this off, we have All-Stars, the Assassin jamming for the All-Stars. Assassin grabbing that lead jam position. Fianna's jammer looked like there's already been a star pass to the pivot. The Assassin making that second scoring pass there, picking up 4 more points. Assassin around the outside, picking up 4 more. Penetration still looking for a way through that pack. Assassin threw for 4 more. No, I'm pretty sure she was pivot. Assassin looking for some room around the outside. Fianna's wall coming down a little bit as they're trying to regain that. There it is, penetration, finding some room around the outside, making that pass. Assassin getting out in front, calling that jam off before penetration can make a scoring pass in there. Assassin with a quick 1-2, putting 24 on the scoreboard. Comet grabbing that lead jam position for the All-Stars. Hannibal Decker for Fianna. Comet through for 4. Hannibal Decker clearing that pack, making some room out in front. Starting this jam out, we got Kaleidoscope on the line for the All-Stars. Slambo Bright for Fianna. Slambo Bright looking for some room on the outside. Kaleidoscope looking for some room on the in. Kaleid finding some room around the top, but getting cut off. Hard brick wall there, slowing Kaleid down. Kaleid, though, picking up that lead jam position, it looks like. Slambo Bright looks like with a star pass there to Sister Slaughter. Kaleidoscope picking up a track cut. Sister Slaughter finding some room, picking up 4 points. Fianna trying to keep that wall ready to go. All-Stars just taking that front position a little bit. A lot of action going on right as those jammers come up to the wall. Kaleidoscope out of the penalty box. Sister Slaughter looking for some room. Kaleidoscope going down on the outside. Kaleidoscope coming in through that pack after making that pass after that penalty lock. Sister Slaughter still locked up in that inside corner as that jam came to an end. Chronic Tush on the line for Femme Fianna, like a vegan on the line for All-Stars. Chronic Tush getting through, grabbing that. Not actually unclear if there's a lead jam position there for Femme Fianna, but like a vegan headed to the penalty box, that'll make this a power jam for Chronic Tush. Looks like a track cut being issued there to Pitbull. Chronic Tush through that pack, picking up 4 points. Slamboni headed to the penalty box there. Aftermath trying to get a reset on Chronic Tush, not able to have it. Like a vegan out of the penalty box and put 4 on the board. Chronic Tush out in front too. Looks like this jam is going to go the full 2. Like a vegan looking for some room. Chronic Tush on a reset on that inside line. Four points there on that last pass for Chronic Tush. Looks like both jammers putting 12 on the board. Kassassin jamming for the All-Stars. Snagging that lead jam position. Space Cadet for Femme Fianna. Kassassin putting 4 on the board. Space Cadet coming up to the hot on the back of that pack. Assassin coming through, picking up 4 more and calling that jam off. Comet jamming for the All-Stars. Slambo Bright for Femme Fianna. Slambo Bride getting a nice little 1-2 on the outside there, managing to snag that lead jam position. Comet finding a hole on the inside of corner 2. Comet calling that jam off. Collide finding some room out in front, grabbing that lead jam position. Hannibal Decker looking for some room for Femme. Fianna looks like maybe headed back behind off kilter, and a nice reset there for the All-Stars. Femme Fianna trying to get that wall pushed together at the top, though. Hold back Kaleidoscope. And Hannibal Decker picking up what looks like a back block there, maybe. That'll make this a power jam for Kaleidoscope. Kaleidoscope headed to the penalty box. That'll release Hannibal Decker. Off kilter also picking up a direction of play block there. Hannibal Decker out of the penalty box, meeting some resistance though from Aftermath. Kaleidoscope out of the penalty box as well. Making some room up in the top, taking that jam the full 2. And we got a timeout for the All-Stars. All right, we are back from that timeout. The Kassassin on the line for the All-Stars. Space Cadet out in front in that lead jam position for Femme Fianna. We got a fast-moving pack here. Aftermath still hanging out in the penalty box, so that All-Star wall running one short Fianna trying to push that through. A strong play there. Fianna putting one on that last jam. Slambo Bright for Fianna. Out in front in that lead jam position, like a vegan, looking for some room in the back for the All-Stars. Slambo Bright looking for a little juke action there, that All-Star wall, trying to build up some room. Looking for some help from those teammates. Slambo Bright pushing through. Picking up 4 points. Like a vegan on the board for 4. Pack starting to slow down a bit after we saw quite a lot of speed there earlier. In that last jam, Slambo Bright looking for some room around the outside. Both jammers getting caught in a bit of a wall from the other team's pack there. Slambo Bright, though, managing to get out before Like a Vegan. A quick little track repair there from Twinkle Toes. So you know those toes aren't the ones that ruin the track because they're twinkly. And we are back to the action. Space Cadet on the line for Fianna. Comet grabbing that lead jam position for the All-Stars. Looks like we see a star pass there for Fianna to Penetration. Aftermath headed to the penalty box again. Comet looking for some room at the top. It looks like a track cut being issued there. That is going to make this a power jam for Penetration. Penetration getting knocked to the outside, having to reset. Face bounder, Mies Vanderrohe holding that inside line strong, getting some support from Brutality. Aftermath out of the penalty box there to add one more to that pack for the All-Stars. Comet out of the penalty box there. We're seeing Penetration basically locked behind that All-Star wall there till Comet got released. Comet doing a little wall climb across that pack, finding some room on that inside line. Penetration getting stuck behind a constant resetting action there from the All-Star pack, but finding some room on that outside wall, managing to push through and pick up 4. Coming through for 16. Timeout for Femme Fianna. We want to say a big thanks to our sponsors, Double Mountain. What could possibly go wrong? Also, if you didn't know, they are available out in the lobby. They also now are available in reusable bottles. Reduce, reuse, refill, Double Mountain. Also, a big shout out to 6th Street Bistro. 6th Street Bistro, a local favorite for over 25 years, downtown Hood River. Back from that timeout. Again, that was Femme Fianna's timeout there. Kaleidoscope on the line for the All-Stars. Hannibal Decker on the line for Femme Fianna. Looks like Hannibal getting out in front. Too quick, picking up a track cut. That is going to put Kaleidoscope in a power jam for the next 30 seconds. Kaleidoscope, though, with that star off the helmet, trying to help create some confusion, but finding some room on that inside line, pushing through. Finding some more room. Kaleidoscope picking up 4 more, taking full advantage of that power jam. Hannibal Decker still hanging out in the penalty box for Femme Fianna. Kaleidoscope with a hard shove there from that pack from Femme Fianna. Managed to turn that momentum into a run through inside of corner 3. Fast pack action there coming through corner 3 and 4, but everybody getting slowed way down. Hannibal Decker out of the penalty box, keeping that pressure up on that All-Star wall. Slamboni headed to the penalty box. 4 more on the board for Kaleidoscope and the All-Stars. Hannibal Decker out on that initial pass. Juice box up to the top to put a lid on it. Andy Oakley there with the assist. Hanging out here in an official timeout. We want to say big thanks to our sponsors, Hood Printing, the official merch printer for Gorge Roller Derby. Also, Tilly Jane's, every Trailblazer game, every football game, and happy hour all weekend on the Heights in Hood River. Tilly Jane's. Back to the action. Slambo Bride on the line for Fianna. The Assassin out in front, grabbing that lead jam position for Gorge. That is a full penalty box for Gorge. 3 in the box, only Face Spounder on the track right now to play defense. Assassin, though, finding some room still as that pack from Fianna just managing to create that net. Pitbull and Aftermath left in the penalty box for Gorge. Mama in the penalty box from Fianna. Assassin out in front for 4 more. 12 on the board. Slambo Bright looking for an easy walk through. Face Spounder trying to shut it down. Assassin through for 4 more on that inside line. Assassin with a nice cross. Picking up 4 more, 20 on the board. Slambo Bright with another 4. 12 there for Fianna. It looks like we are seeing an official. No, just timeout there for Fianna. Oh, official. We're looking at an official review there for Fianna. We want to say a big thanks to our sponsors, Freebridge Brewing. Authentic beer for authentic people. Freebridge Brewing in downtown The Dalles. Also, Nichols Art Glass, where passion for art and the love of glass meet. Come visit them at 912 West 6th Street in the... So it looks like we weren't in an official review. We were just in a timeout there. Comet on the line for the All-Stars. Sister Slaughter on the line for Fianna. Sister Slaughter running through the middle of that pack. Comet, though, managing to slip through on the outside. Sister Slaughter, though, coming through corner 2 there, was just throwing skaters off left and right. Comet looking for some room on the back. Sister Slaughter finding that room and grabbing 4. Comet looking for some room around the outside, managing to slip through, pick up 4 more. Look like Miss Vanderbilt headed to the penalty box for Gorge. Sister Slaughter through for 4 for Fianna. Trying to run that wall down. Strong wall there from Gorge, but Fianna's wall wasn't able to hold it together. Comet slipping through on that inside line. Sister Slaughter passing on the outside, unopposed. Brutality trying to lock it off. Comet coming through, calling off that jam. Sister Slaughter putting 12 on the board in that jam. 16 on the board for the All-Stars. Kaleidoscope jamming for the All-Stars. Slambo Bright jamming for Femme, Fianna. Slambo looking for some room in that back wall. All-Stars really trying to shut down all opportunities there. Kassassin moving back and in and out. Kaleidoscope, after a long fight there against Mama, managing to pull through and grab that lead jam position. Kassassin face founder, Slamboni, and Andy Oakley making up that pack there for the All-Stars. Slamboni headed to the penalty box. And a star pass there to penetration for Femme, Fianna. Slambo back up to the front to head off that pack, and we see Kaleidoscope calling off that jam. Right out to the front, like a vegan. Tons of energy going into that jam. And there it is, right there, like a vegan, picking up a penalty, headed to the penalty box. That's going to put Space Cadet in a power jam position for Femme, Fianna. Juicebox headed to the penalty box. Not a good position. GRD doesn't want to start sending their skaters to the penalty box. But it looks like it's going to happen. Kassassin going to the penalty box as well. That is 3 in. Brutality out there. Slamboni out there for the All-Stars. Trying to hold it together. But Femme, Fianna going to take full advantage. A bunch of chaos going in there with penalties being issued all over the place. We're seeing some of those jammers finally back out. Like a vegan on the track. Once again jamming. Space Cadet looking for some room in the back of that wall for the All-Stars. Space Cadet finding some room out in front. Picking up 4 for Femme, Fianna. Like a vegan looking for that inside line, not able to hold on to it. Vegan had that lead jam position, went to the penalty box, so we saw that jam run the full 2. White Wolf jamming for Femme, Fianna. Comet jamming for the All-Stars. Just under 2 minutes left in this first half. Period clock and the jam clock with just a couple seconds in between them. Comet grabbing that lead jam position for the All-Stars. Mies Vanderel headed to the penalty box for the All-Stars. And we see A star pass there to penetration for Fianna. Comet calling off the jam with a minute and 15 on the clock. And I think we're seeing a timeout being called there by, and maybe an official timeout. The official timeout just had to do with making sure they had, Fianna had a skater in the penalty box due to a penalty. Kaleidoscope on the line for the All-Stars. Slambo Bright on the line for Fianna, looking for some room. Kaleidoscope trying to keep it in. It looks like manages to do so with a nice toe stop hop around that outside edge. Slambo Bright with a nice little one-up 180 as coming through that corner too. Looks like Kaleidoscope calling off the jam. 15 seconds on the clock. It looks like Kaleidoscope picked up a penalty at the end of that one. And that is 2 in the box for both teams. An intermission. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there we have it. That is halftime. Just making sure, as we saw a whole bunch of penalties being issued there right before we got to the halftime whistle. So it looks like we're going to have 2 skaters from each team, and more importantly, the jammer for the All-Stars will be starting out in the penalty box starting the next half. All right, here we are back in the second half, and in case you're wondering why that track looks empty, well, it is. Both teams have skaters in the penalty box from that last jam, and more specifically, Kaleidoscope in that jamming position for the All-Stars in that penalty box. Slambo Bright out in front, grabbing that lead jam position for Fianna. Fianna, Slambo Bright managing to get to the outside. Casassa not able to get a big enough bite. Both teams back to full force. Kaleidoscope finding some room around the outside. Both jammers starting way back there. White Wolf for Fianna, like a vegan for the All-Stars. Vegan looking for a line on the inside. Looks like getting shuffled through that pack, though. White Wolf getting reset there somewhere, it looks like. No, look, star pass to penetration. Aftermath headed to the penalty box in that last pile up there in corner 1 and 2. Like a Vegan through the pack, penetration. Trying to find some room. Looks like there's a big reset there. A huge track cut for Like a Vegan. Cosmo Maimher responsible for getting that track cut laid out to Like a Vegan, and it was a big one. Penetration out in front for Femme Fianna. Like a Vegan out of the penalty box. Penetration looking for some room, getting stuck behind those blockers from All Stars. Like a Vegan finding another hole. All Stars breaking that double century mark in that last few passes. Like a Vegan out in front. Penetration looking for some room in the back still. Getting slowed way down, but looking like finding some distance, managing to slip around the outside of corner 3. Face bounder trying to hold on, but not able to. Penetration through for 4. Like a Vegan picking up 4 more on that last pass as well. Comment jamming for the All-Stars. Picking up a penalty right off the start. Going to the penalty box. That's going to be a power jam for Space Cadet. Space Cadet looking for some room. Meese getting a nice little hip check in there. Looks like a no pass, no penalty being issued there, but seeing lots of different signs from the refs that it is being issued. There's a track cut being issued to Space Cadet. Comment out of the penalty box just before that, so Space Cadet will serve the full 30 seconds. That'll give Comet the same amount of time Space Cadet had on the track unopposed. Big power wall there from the Gorge. Running that Femme Fianna line right over to the outside, cutting a huge hole for Comet. Space Cadet out of the penalty box, but with the star in the hand. Comet trying to find some room up at the top, getting way slowed down though, as that Femme Fianna wall is just coming back again and again. Right out into the front. Space Cadet finding some room, managing to slip through. And that is going to be a power jam for Space Cadet. Space Cadet looking for a huge inside line jump. Comet headed to the penalty box there right at the end of that jam. Femme Fianna has all of the power starting in this jam as Comet hanging out in the penalty box. Gorge's wall is just going to have to try to hold back Slambo Bright. Slambo looking for some room. Headed to the penalty box, though. That is going to be a 1-in, 1-out. Comet was in the penalty box there. I believe almost served that full 30. But we got a strong wall here at the top from Femme Fianna. And we're seeing a track cut being issued there. Sister Slaughter with a nice big reset there on Comet. Comet getting hit to the outside once again. Seeing a big hit there at the tail end of that pack. Juice box getting slammed down. No pack situation. We're seeing a lot of blockers in the penalty box for Femme Fianna. And another one headed there as well. That last penalty for Femme Fianna was Clauberella. Comet around the outside. Three points on that last pass for Femme Fianna. 16 for All-Stars, 11 for Femme Fianna in that last jam. Starting to see these jams get a lot more evened out. And I think we have an official timeout taking place. We're still hanging out an official timeout right here. Waiting to see what's going on. So I saw something on this inside corner, or this inside line. I think that may be what they're talking about. We're going to see. It wasn't technically an official review called by one of the coaches. Already, I don't think it's what I saw.
Did she just foul out? Yeah?
So I think they were realizing they had a foul out situation there. Cindy Lou on a clockwise block there. That was the foul out. Goodbye, Cindy Lou. We'll see you in the lobby getting a fresh beer from one of our awesome sponsors. We got Kaleidoscope out in the front for the All-Stars. White Wolf for Femme, Fianna. White Wolf pushing on the back of that All-Star pack real hard. Look like we see a stretch for a star pass there for Femme, Fianna. Kaleidoscope picking up 4 more. We did see a star pass there for Femme, Fianna to Dublin Trouble. But Dublin not able to pick up any more momentum than White Wolf had there. Nice little hop right on the edge of that line from Kaleidoscope, picking up 4 more. 20 minutes left in this second half. Kaleidoscope with a nice little juke around the top. Dublin Trouble still looking for some room in the back to make a break. Hasn't even got the star on the head yet. Still in the hand. Dublin trying to find some room on that inside wall, then moving to the middle. Kaleidoscope getting knocked to the inside, having a big reset there. Almost picking up, looks like picked up a track cut. Bringing that jam to an end. Hannibal Decker grabbing that lead jam position for Femme, Fianna right out in front. Kaleidoscope hanging out in the penalty box for Gorge. Hannibal Decker with a nice 1-2, finding some room through that pack. Cutting like a knife, getting out in front for 4. Kaleidoscope out of the penalty box. Hannibal Decker not having it and calls off that jam. Like a vegan on the line for All-Stars. Slambo Bright, though, out in front for that lead jam. Slambo right through the middle of that pack. Passing through like light. Slambo Bright out in front, grabbing 4. Like a vegan through on that initial. Like a vegan, cutting to the inside, calling off the jam. Or Slambo calling off the jam. Picking up 1 point on that outside pass. Vegan picking up 4. Comet on the line for the All-Stars. Space Cadet on the line for Femme, Fianna. Comet finding some room with a big push, walking out into that lead jam position. Space Cadet looks like with the star in the hand maybe already. Comet trying to get a big reset there, but Sister Slaughter having none of that. Comet getting caught up on the outside of corner 1 and 2. Space Cadet not able to find any extra room in that pack. Shoulder to shoulder with Kassassin to the outside. Kassassin, though, not able to get the push. Comet out in front for 4. Comet looking for some room. Comet picking up 4. Penalty being issued there. Cosmo Maimher for Femme Fianna. Juice box here for the All-Stars. Also head to the penalty box. Space Cadet, though, with a nice little cut through, running into the top of that All-Star wall, hoping to scoot through it. Kassassin and Pitbull call back no pack call there. Comet finding an opening, slipping through for 4 more. Kaleidoscope out in front for the All-Stars. Slambo Bright, though, in that lead jam position. Got knocked to the inside and calling it off. Picking up 1 point, but not giving any away. Strong play there from Slambo Bright. Hannibal Decker on the line for Femme Fianna, like a vegan for the All-Stars. Vegan not taking it easy, but finding a way to push to the top of that pack. Hannibal Decker not getting an easy route as well. Really getting caught up in the middle of that All-Star wall. Like a vegan, finding some room, slipping through for 4. Face pounder headed to the penalty box. We saw star pass there at Femme Fianna, number 90. Nice clean hit there from number 2 there, getting a nice knock, chronic tush on Comet. Comet, though, looks like trying to jib around the outside, not able to pull it, getting a track cut. That'll be a power jam from Mama and Femme Fianna. Femme Fianna going to try to take full advantage here. I think penetration picking up a penalty there in that pivot position. That, Mama is out there without any help. Mama looking for some room, but face spounder kicking to the outside. I think we're seeing a track cut there call. Yeah, number 8, Mama for Femme Fianna. Comet out of the penalty box after serving. I think that full 30, though, right out into the front. This jam will run the full 2. All-Stars leaving that door wide open for Comet to meet the back of that Femme Fianna wall. But it looks like we just got a real stretched out pack here. No idea what's going on. Which part of the pack is the pack? It looks like it was almost even. Hard to tell. Taking that jam the full 2, and I think we're seeing an official review being called here by Femme Fianna. Again, if you're interested in getting yourself a raffle ticket, our nonprofit partner for this bout is Haven, serving victims of domestic violence and sexual assault in Wasco, Sherman, Gilliam, and Willard counties. Raffle tickets are 2 for 1, 5 for 6, or 20 for your height and tickets, or maybe somebody else's height. Get a really tall friend. Again, that 50-50 raffle will happen at the halftime of the second bout here this evening, but half of the money will be donated to Haven. The other half will go home with one lucky winner. While they're having their official review, which looks like it's coming to an end, we want to say a big thanks to all the officials here this evening. Officials are what make roller derby happen, quite literally, or we would just be skating in circles. So that official review was Femme Fianna was looking for a track cut there on Gorge's jammer, but the blocker who initiated that hit and got the jammer knocked out went out themselves, which nullifies that track cut. Kaleidoscope out in front for the Gorge. Slambo Bright, though, not far behind. Slambo looking for some room. Kaleidoscope to the outside. It looks like that jam is being called off. Looks like a track cut may be issued there. Hard to tell, though. I saw one ref with the track cut up, but nothing been issued yet. All right, here we are back. 9 minutes left on this period clock in the second half here. Hannibal Decker out in front for for Femme Fianna. Gorge's Jammer hanging out in the penalty box. Kaleidoscope. Hannibal Decker looking for some room up top. Brutality. Pickleback Jack trying to close that door on that inside line, but Hannibal able to push it open. Kaleidoscope out of the penalty box. Hannibal Decker getting stopped on that outside line, corner 2, or 3 and 4, and calling it off. Jam. One of our amazing sponsors. We got Everybody's Brewing, Double Mountain Brewing, and Freebridge Brewing all out in the lobby, ready for your mouths to consume. This is going to be an interesting one, guys. Pay attention to that penalty box. Both jammers out of the penalty box at the same exact time. Comet coming in hot, grabbing that lead jam position. Hannibal Decker looking for some room on that outside wall, but getting caught in a wall of white. Comet with a nice little inside line hop there, picking up 4. All-Stars really laying that wall down for Hannibal Decker, making it real difficult to get through. Looks like we got Juicebox Hero Face Founder and Aftermath on a 3-wall there. Comet up through the top, managing to slip through. Through for 4 more. Hannibal Decker there with a star pass. That star pass paying off to White Wolf. White Wolf managing to get out in front. Cosmo Maimer in the penalty box for Femme Fianna. Right as they came into corner 3, calling off that jam. What do we got going on here? Right out into the front like a vegan, finding some room. Dirty Bush looking for an outside line there for Femme Fianna. A hard fall there like a vegan. Going right over the top. Number 8, Mama. Right to the outside line. Brutality coming to meet it, but not enough. Dirty Bush getting out in front on that initial pass. Like a vegan to the top, calling off the jam. Just under 5 minutes left in this second half. Comet in that lead jam position for the Gorge. Slambo Bright looking for an edge for Femme Fianna on that back wall. Face Bounder with a nice reset there into corner 2, or corner 4. Comet with 4 more on the board. Slambo Bright still not able to complete that initial pass, having to hand off that star pass there to Penetration. Hard hit there, and Comet headed to the penalty box. Penetration finding some room, managing to get out of that wall. Both these packs slowing way down here. Sister Slaughter in the penalty box for Femme Fianna. Comet looking for some room there. Penetration still caught up on that inside wall. 3 minutes left in the second half. Trying to run through that back wall. White Wolf for Femme Fianna. Like a Vegan, though, finding some room quick and early, grabbing that lead jam position. Stretching that pack out just a little bit. Slamboni with a nice little reset. White Wolf with the star pass there to Mama. Mama getting caught up, though. Sister Slaughter trying to lane that out. Looks like Mama, though, headed to the penalty box with both that star and that stripe. Vegan with a run through the top. 1.5 minutes left on the period clock. 1 minute left on the jam clock. Vegan calling off the jam. Big playback. Not sure what the All-Stars were going for there, but Mama in the penalty box for Femme Fianna. Penetration now headed to the penalty box in that pivot position. Mama going to be all alone out there. Comet looking for some room after picking up 4 more on that wall. Looks like a multiplayer block being issued there. 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1. Period clock has run out. They got a minute and 8 left on this clock, though, if they want to keep skating it. Comet out in front. Big hit there. Mama coming out of the penalty box. Face Bounder headed to the penalty box. Pitbull in the penalty box. Kassassin in the penalty box. Mama out in front. Comet almost hip to hip. Comet calling it off. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Femme Fianna. And make some noise for your Gorge Roller Derby All-Stars. All right, starting this game off, Blood and Gorge versus Air Raid Roller Derby. Andy Oakley on the line for Blood and Gorge. Meanie Mouse on the line for Air Raid. Andy Oakley finding some room, getting that lead jam position out in front. Meanie Mouse trying to find a wiggling hole right there in the middle of that gorge wall. Not able to do so. A star pass to Knock'em's Razor. Andy Oakley still in that lead jam position for Gorge out in front and calling it off. Cheapskate on the line for Gorge. Witch slap for Air Raid. Witch slap almost up to the front and then getting knocked back down. Around the outside, though, Witch slap finding some room, grabbing that lead jam position. Cheapskate with the star in the hand, coming out of that pack hot. Not in that lead jam position, but going to be able to keep that pressure on Witch slap. Witch slap through the outside. Hard hit, Cheapskate going down. Mid inside line. Looks like a couple penalties being issued there. Wino Rhino on the line for Air Raid. Andy Oakley for Blood and Gorge. Andy finding a line on the inside. Wino Rhino not far behind. Going to keep that pressure up on Andy Oakley. Andy Oakley getting knocked to the inside and calling off that jam. Picking up 2 points, not giving any away. Tight game we got going so far. 6 Blood and Gorge. Air Raid at 4. Out in front, Hazard grabbing that lead jam position for air raid. Cheapskate still looking for some room there. Coming out of that pack right behind Hazard. Hazard already on that scoring pass. Cheapskate just making that initial. Hazard calling out some commands to the pack. Getting up there and calling off that jam. Neither jammer picking up points on that last pass, but Air Raid putting on 4 more. Getting a quick little lead change there. 8 points, Air Raid, 6, Blood and Gorge. Andy Oakley on the line for Blood and Gorge. Meanie Mouse for Air Raid. Oakley looking for a line on that inside wall. Trying to just push it open. Pack coming in, swooping in front there. Meanie Mouse grabbing that lead jam position just in the nick of that corner. Andy Oakley breaking clear of that pack, not in that lead jam position. Meanie Mouse in the back of that pack trying to get through on that initial after making that lead jam push out. Got sucked back into the pack. Andy Oakley through for 4. Meanie Mouse calling off the jam. Wood slap on the line for Air Raid. Cheapskate on the line for Blood and Gorge. Wood slap finding some room, getting a nice little rotation around J-Bomb there, managing to slip out in front and grab that lead jam position. Cheapskate getting caught in a wall of black there. Air Raid sending one of their own to the penalty box, number 77, Begg. Cheapskate getting bounced back and forth on that wall. Witch slap with a little pause and step away, managing to slip on the inside of that wall for Blood and Gorge, picking up 4 more. Looks like we got a track cut there. Not sure who it's issued to. Looks like Cheapskate. Yep. That is going to be a power jam there for Witch slap. No pack situation developed there. Air Raid's pack just a little bit too far back. Lethally Blonde also headed to the penalty box for Blood and Gorge. Witch slap through for 4 more. That Gorge wall just 1 short. Both teams staging their defensive line. Cheapskate out of the penalty box, engaging with that wall for Air Raid. Blood and Gorge back to full force with their pack as well. Witch slap, though, looking for some room, managing to get it done. Like a Vegan with a power run up to the top to grab that lead jam position. Wino Rhino for air raid. Hard hit into the back of J-Bomb. Warrior Mama stepping in. Like a Vegan out in front. Wino Rhino clearing that pack, going to keep the pressure on Like a Vegan. Vegan able to see that just in time, calling off that jam. Try not to give any points away. 7 on that last. Blood and Gorge 17, air raid 26. Andy Oakley out in front for Blood and Gorge. Quick turnover in that last jam, putting us back out Like a Vegan on the line for Blood and Gorge. Knock'em's Razor for air raid. Like a Vegan finding some room around the outside corner. Knock'em's Razor trying to get some room. Finding a hard time up against that wall though. Like a Vegan through for 4. Raven Havoc headed to the penalty box, though, for Blood and Gorge. Knock'em's Razor finally breaking that pack. Like a Vegan getting knocked down in corner 3 and 4 and calling off the jam. Cheapskate on the line for Blood and Gorge. Meanie Mouse for air raid. Both coming out of that pack. Shoulder to Cheapskate just barely grabbing that lead jam position. Meanie Mouse looking for some jammer on jammer and gets it. Cheapskate getting knocked out just slightly, but it looks like there's being a penalty issued there to Meanie Mouse. Cheapskate still rolling out this power jam. Blood and Gorge trying to take full advantage with that air raid while proving a tough one to deal with. Cheapskate keeps getting hit back as hard. Pack starting to spread out just a tiny bit there as we get into the corner, but Meanie Mouse free of that penalty box. Slowing that down and Cheapskate calling that jam off. Here we go, 3 points for Blood and Gorge and 1 for air raid. Looks like we got another lead change there. 36 Blood and Gorge, 31 air raid. We are in a timeout now for Air Raid Roller Derby. Andy Oakley on the line for Blood and Gorge. Witch Slap, though, grabbing that lead jam position for Air Raid. Big no-pack situation here as that Blood and Gorge wall just started moving forward. I think we're going to be seeing a few penalties being issued here. Total chaos as that pack got fully separated. There was no way for them to play defense. Witch Slap coming through. Doesn't look like picked up any points. Look like there might be 1 point there issued to Andy Oakley. Like a vegan out in front in that lead jam position. Wino Rhino for Air Raid, looking for a little bit more gap between her and that pack. That pack starting to gain some speed. Taking that jam down. A quick grab and go for Gorge Roller Derby, putting 3 points on the board. Off kilter with a nice reset there for Hazard in that lead jam position. Andy Oakley, though, kicking out in front, managing to get clear pack. Both jammers finding a bit of resistance there. Hazard, though, breaking free and clear and picking up 4 points. Four more scooting through the pack for Andy Oakley. And Andy Oakley hanging out in a power jam now. Hazard headed to the penalty box. Hazard had that lead jam position, and now with that penalty will lose that lead jam position. This jam will go the full 2. Lethally Blonde in that pivot position, grabbing a star pass. Lethally Blonde looking for a step out. Hazard out of the penalty box, coming in with some speed. Andy Oakley knocked to the inside track. Lethally Blonde breaking free and clear that jam, running those full 2. 10 points for Blood and Gorge, 12 for Air Raid. 11 minutes left in this first half. Like a Vegan on the line for Air Raid, or for Gorge. Meanie Mouse on the line for Air Raid. Vegan through the outside. Picking up 4, Meanie Mouse. Looking for some room. Looks like Twinkle Toes getting in the way of that, causing a bit of a spill back there. Like a Vegan finding some more room for 4 more on the board. Meanie Mouse breaking out of that pack, going to keep that pressure on Vegan. Vegan calling off the jam, getting knocked to the inside. 2 points in that last pass. $60 Blood and Gorge, 43 Air Raid. This game has been real close. Witch Slap on the line for Air Raid. Cheapskate on the line for Blood and Gorge. Witch Slap finding some room, getting out in front. Witch Slap with that lead jam position. Cheapskate just barely clearing that pack just now. Witch Slap going to be in full control of this jam. Witch Slap calling it off. Not soon enough, though. Looks like Cheapskate picked through for 3. Witch Slap, though, picking up 4. Coach is an overachiever. Like a Vegan out in front for Gorge. Wino Rhino for Air Raid. Vegan finding a nice little inside line there. Wino Rhino getting tumbled back and forth against that Gorge wall. Calling that jam off. Vegan picking up 4 in that last pass. Gorge starting to walk away from Air Raid a little bit, but that is not enough points to secure a win. That is for sure. Andy Oakley picking up a track cut coming out on that jamming position for Gorge. That'll be a power jam for Knock'em's Razor. Knock'em's looking for some help. Kimbo Slice trying to cut that track wide open and manages to do so. Knock'em Razor getting out in front, grabbing that lead jam position. Knock'em's Razor getting bounced back and forth. Andy Oakley just out of the penalty box. Not quite sure how that's going to be. Oh, looks like Andy Oakley will be released back to the bench. Knock'em's Razor calling it up, but picking up 3 points. Six and a half minutes left in this first half. Cheapskate out there in the lead jam position for Gorge. Zero Fox for air raid. Doomsday in that lead or in that pivot position for air raid. And we are seeing an official review there being called by Air Raid Roller Derby. Just a quick reminder that beer sales end at halftime in this game. So make sure you run out there when halftime starts if you'd like to get a refill. We want to say a big thanks to our sponsors, Everybody's Brewing, Double Mountain Brewery, and Freebridge Brewing for being a part of our league and being a part of our events. Just a minute here, we'll have a callback on the official review. Air Raid was looking for a back block on their jammer, but it was not the case. So Air Raid will lose their review. And we are back to roller derby. Like a Vegan on the line for Gorge. Meanie Mouse on the line for Air Raid. Meanie Mouse finding some room. Like a Vegan out in front and calling off the jam. A quick 4 for Gorge and not giving any away. Witch slap on the line for Air Raid. Andy Oakley on the line for Gorge, getting knocked to a big inside stoop there. Andy Oakley taking a second to recover from that hit. Not deterred, though, back out on the track, trying to push through that wall from Air Raid. Witch slap at the front, trying to find some room on the inside line. Andy Oakley, though, managing to push through and grab that lead jam position. Witch slap getting reset behind Risque Rebel. Andy Oakley finding a hard wall there from Doomsday. Witch slap in the penalty box. But it looks like a star pass was made before that happened. I don't know, maybe not. So it doesn't look like the star pass was technically made, even though Witch Slap does not have the star in hand. Doomsday had it there for a moment. Andy Oakley coming through, keeping that pressure on, and we see that jam coming to an end. 4 points for Gorge in that last pass. 95 Blood and Gorge, 50 Air Raid. .45 difference between the two, but that's still not enough. Air Raid could run this thing out by the end. Cheapskate out in front, grabbing that lead jam position for Gorge. Rhino looking for a push through at the top of that pack. Rhino getting walled through that pack, but managing to slip through. Cheapskate out in front, calling that jam off. Strong play from Gorge there to really shut down Rhino. Vegan managing to slip out in front, grab that lead jam position. Jill the Ripper for Air Raid, coming through with some speed through corner 3 and 4. Vegan calling off that jam. .30 seconds left. I think we're gonna see our last jam here of the half. Period clock at 0. We're running on jam time. Cheapskate in that jamming position for Blood and Gorge. Meanie Mouse for Air Raid. Meanie Mouse getting set back behind Risque Rebel. Cheapskate looks like slipped out just far enough in front to grab that lead jam position. Coming back in with a nice running start. Mouse slipping through that pack, gonna be able to keep that pressure on Cheapskate. Cheap picking up 2 more. Beanie Mouse not able to get anything on the board. Cheap cutting that jam off. And we're at halftime, ladies and gentlemen. Make some noise for these teams. All right, ladies and gentlemen, are we ready for the second half? Blood and Gorge at 105, Air Raid Roller Derby at 50. Cheapskate on the line for Blood and Gorge. Witch Slap for Air Raid. Cheapskate finding some room on the inside of corner 2 and 3. Doomsday with that star pass out in front, calling out some commands to that pack, trying to get them in action. Cheapskate getting knocked to the outside, not able to get through that pack at all, but picking up 1 and calling it off. Doomsday picking up 3. The beer tent is closing. If you have not ran there right now, you're probably too late. Andy Oakley on the line for Blood and Gorge. Wino Rhino for Air Raid Roller Derby. Andy Oakley finding some room out in front, picking up some points, but Wino Rhino managing to get out in front of that pack first. Andy Oakley not wanting to give any away, calling off that jam. Joe the Ripper on the line for Air Raid, like a vegan, finding a running line and taking a whole way. Joe the Ripper with a nice step, finding some speed through corner 3 and 4, but like a vegan, turning that jam off, picking up 4 points and running away. Cheapskate for Blood and Gorge. Hazard for Air Raid. Hazard on the outside line. Nice toe stop runaway getting through. Picking up that lead jam position. Cheapskate picking up a track cut. That's going to be a power jam for Hazard. Both packs getting slowed down. Hazard in that lead jam position, not able to push through that pack, but calling it off, not wanting to let Cheapskate out of the penalty box before that jam ended. Sometimes just the advantage of having a tired jammer on the other team is all you need. Cheapskate out of the penalty box for Blood and Gorge, but Meaty Mouse pushing those packs apart, getting up in front and grabbing that lead jam position. Cheapskate in the back looking for some room. Meanie Mouse picking through for 4. Meanie Mouse again in that lead jam position, controlling this thing. Risque Rebel picking up a penalty there. Cheapskate looking for some room. Meanie Mouse coming to the back of that pack. Moving right through this second half. Meanie Mouse with 4 more on the board. Running this jam up to 12 so far. Cheapskate not able to get through that pack. Like I was just saying earlier, a tired jammer is sometimes all you need to make a bit of a difference. Air Raid Roller Derby taking full advantage of that. Cheapskate hitting the gas coming through that pack. Meanie Mouse through that middle and calling that jam off. Nice strong play from Air Raid. 18 on the board. Reeling them back in. All right, we are officially back, ladies and gentlemen. After a 20-minute intervenient, we didn't expect there. Witch slap out in that lead jam position for Air Raid Roller Derby. Andy Oakley for Blood and Gorge. Raven going down to the hard hit on that inside line. Witch slap getting through, calling it off, picking up 4 points. 22 minutes left in this half. Like a Vegan out in front in that lead jam position for Gorge. Rhino with a star pass there to Doomsday. Doomsday getting some distance out in front of that pack like a Vegan around the outside and calling that jam off. Cheapskate on the line for Blood and Gorge. Jill the Ripper for Air Raid. Cheapskate grabbing that lead jam position. Lethally Blonde in the penalty box for Gorge. Calling that jam off, keeping that pressure on. Only 2 points for Gorge in that last pass. Air Raid getting it going. Andy Oakley looking for a big reset on Meanie Mouse. Meanie Mouse picking up a track cut. Meanie Mouse just getting a bit of an unexpected turn there from Andy Oakley. Andy Oakley, though, out in a power jam. Air Raid trying to keep that wall tight, but Andy finding some room around the outside. Blood and Gorge setting it up so Andy can get that clean run in. With a late push there, Andy Oakley hoping to get through that pack, not able to do it. Meanie Mouse out of that penalty box, into that back wall from Gorge, trying to find any tight opening. Bringing that jam down. 4 points for Gorge. Air Raid working on that reel-in strategy. Gorge not getting so many points so far in this first 4 minutes that we've been back. Like a Vegan looking for some room out front, but Witch Slap slipping to the top, grabbing that lead jam position for Air Raid. Witch Slap getting up to the top, calling it off. Neither jam are getting any points, but at this point, Air Raid not wanting to give away any is the biggest strategy here. Cheapskate on the line for Blood and Gorge. Wino Rhino for Air Raid. Wino out in that lead jam position. Losing a little bit of traction there in quarter two. Managed to get back up. Cheapskate, though, getting a little jammer on jammer passing action there. Forcing Wino Rhino to call off the jam. Nice, solid play there. Like a Vegan managing to slip up to the top and grab that lead jam position, but Jill the Ripper bringing that speed. Like the Vegan. Tried to call it off, didn't have it. Looked like picked up a penalty right before that, entering the back of that pack. Kind of caught the whole pack off by surprise. Jill the Ripper moving through with that speed, taking full advantage, up to the top once again. Jill right up to the back of that pack. Through the middle, finding 4 more on the floor. Like a Vegan out of that penalty box, through, picking up 4. Jill the Ripper running this one out. We're going to see this one go the full 2. Jill the Ripper back out in a power jam once again. Like a Vegan headed to the penalty box. 4 more. Really starting to reel that lead in. Joe the Ripper around the outside. Sage Against the Machine not able to hold it back. Jill taking it the full 2, putting 20 on the board. Might be more. 23 on the board. Taking them up over the century mark. 105 Air Raid Roller Derby, 139 Blood and Gorge. Strong play there from Air Raid. Rolling right into that one like a vegan. For Blood and Gorge in that lead jam position. Hazard for Air Raid. Twinkle Toes getting caught up in a bit of action in the back of that pack. Back from a quick little pit stop, Andy Oakley for Blood and Gorge, Meanie Mouse for Air Raid Roller Derby. Andy Oakley up to the side and calling it off. Trying to keep Meanie Mouse off that scoreboard. 12 minutes left in this second half. Witch Slap out in front in that lead jam position for Air Raid. Letting that jam unfold a little bit. We see Cheapskate up at the top, looking for some room, having to fight to get free, but managing to do so. Witch Slap in that lead jam position, calling it off. Air Raid starting with 1 in the penalty box. Not so good for Air Raid. Wino Rhino headed to the penalty box. That's going to be a power jam for Like a Vegan. Vegan up to the inside line, picking up 4 points. Air Raid braced and ready for that impact from Vegan. Gorge wall comes in and dismantles all of it. Vegan finding a hole through the side and getting through the top. Like a Vegan still in that power jam, trying to take full advantage. Vegan through on 4. Wino Rhino through on that pass out of the penalty box on that initial. Vegan through, picking up 16. Out in front, Jill the Ripper with some fire under those skates. Andy Oakley trying to keep that pack away, but that pack's moving too fast. Jill the Ripper up to the back, looking for an angle. Andy Oakley finally breaking free. Jill the Ripper calling it off after picking up 4. 114 Air Raid, 161 Gorge. Not a whole lot of difference in points between the two teams as we've gotten back here. But Air Raid definitely showing a few more angles to their attack. Cheapskate on the line for Gorge. Air Raid on the line, or Hazard on the line for Air Raid. Cheapskate to the inside, looks like. Low block there for Cheapskate. Hazard still in that lead jam position, trying to run this jam, and doing so, calling that jam off, keeping Cheapskate locked up in the penalty box, picking up 4 and walking away. Six and a half minutes left. $39 points between the two teams. Meaty Mouse through with 4 more, finding some room. Big hit there on the inside line. Cheapskate getting knocked to the inside. Looks like no pass, no penalty. 4 there more on the board for Meaty Mouse. 4 more for Cheapskate. Meaty Mouse in that lead jam position, calling it off after getting shoveled out to the side. Like a Vegan on the line for Blood and Gorge. Witch Slap for Air Raid. Vegan getting some heavy hits there in the middle of that pack. Knock'em's Razor there. Grabbing that star pass. 132 Air Raid, 169 Blood and Gorge. Air Raid definitely starting to make that difference of 4 minutes left, but it is not over until it's over. Sage against the machine in the penalty box for Gorge, but Rhino out in front in that lead jam position for Air Raid. Andy Oakley looking for a line on the inside that they can be pushed open, but not finding one. Heavy hits there, J-Bomb down, opening in the door, and Rhino is through for 4. Andy Oakley getting clear of that pack. Wino calling it off. Oh, looks like no. Wino trying to call it off, not able to. Andy Oakley out, only has a defensive wall to play against. Rhino in the penalty box. Power jam situation for Gorge. Gorge Jammer starting to step back and spread that wall back open. Andy Oakley out to the top. Can't keep those skates underneath though. A minute 52 left in this second and final half of this evening. 177 Gorge, 140 Air Raid. Cheapskate in that lead jam position, but Jill the Ripper with that pressure. Jill the Ripper finding a hard hit there in the top. A couple hard hits being dished out in that corner. I think we might be seeing a timeout from Air Raid. We're reeling that one in. A strong play there from Air Raid. A lot of energy on the track. Gorge getting 12 on the board. Air Raid getting 4. Team timeout there for Air Raid. And we are back. 27 seconds left on the clock. Potentially our last jam of the evening. Andy Oakley on the line for Blooded Gorge. Doomsday for Air Raid. With an immediate star pass there to Hazard, and it pays off. Hazard out in front, not in that jam position. Cheapskate, or Andy Oakley out in that lead jam position. Looks like just to be eyeballing that period clock. Not quite. Another timeout there from Air Raid. Crispy, over here. A quick in and out, but Air Raid doesn't want to see this thing go down without a bang. 45-point difference between the two, and what a fight it's been thus far. 3 seconds left on the clock. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, our last jam of the evening. Our period clock is at 0. Cheapskate out in that lead jam position and calls it off. Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for Air Raid Roller Derby. And make some noise for your Gorge Roller Derby Blood and Gorge.